Hey guys, for the Afro Reviews here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Chapter 895 of One Piece. I apologize for this being a little late. I know there's not really anyone expecting me to post it at any particular time yet. I only have like 4 subscribers, but I still apologize. I like to get these out as soon as I can, and I've been a little busy with work. So, anyway, moving on. We have the cover page first to get that out of the way. We moved on from Leo and his whole little mini-story to Hadruden, and him leaving Buggy's dispatch service, you know, his little mercenary thing, making use of his Shichibukai title. Hadruden and his giant cohorts, I think there's 5 of them total, were Buggy's biggest earners, so Buggy's understandably pretty pissed, and I'm hoping that, you know, it's going to tie in at some point, but I'm hoping sooner rather than later. I want to see more Buggy, because his trollness, I miss it. I miss him just trolling around and being ridiculous, and this is a good way to tie him back in. Because we also get to see Hadruden again, and he's not my favorite member of the Grand Fleet, but I feel like he has a lot of potential. Anyway, getting into the chapter, oh my god, this chapter is so hype. First panel, first thing we see, Snakeman, and it doesn't look much different than the other Gear 4th forms, which is, in my mind, makes sense. I am doing this a little late, so I've had time to like prowl the internet, you know, kind of see some people's like opinions and whatnot. And a lot of people are saying that Snakeman doesn't look different enough. And to that, I kind of think it's still a form of Gear 4th. It's still a derivative of Gear 4th, like just like Tankman and Boundman, you know? So I expect them to all look really similar. Like Tankman looked very different because it was the quote-unquote full version. You know, he was super fat when he did it. So I expected regular Tankman to look different, but much more similar to Boundman than it did originally. And seeing Snakeman be like pretty much just a slimmed down like version, it's pretty awesome. It looks like I wanted Gear 4 to look like originally. He's really buff, you know, because his muscle balloon, but he's slim enough that like it looks proportionate and badass. So that's awesome. His hair always goes crazy in Gear 4th, but in this form it's really accentuated. Like I feel like it's crazier than normal. And then finally, my favorite little detail is instead of holding his fists like this, you know, like how he usually just punches the crap out of people, his fists are actually like this, like he's like ready to strike with these digits of his fingers, which is actually something you do in martial arts. I took it when I was a kid for a little bit, and there was like a snake style, and guess what? That's how I struck. That's how I struck. Anyway. Moving on from this, we immediately have Katakuri comment on it, and he says, like, he knows that Luffy does look different. He's not, like, underestimating him or making fun of him like, you know, like Dovi did when he first transformed. But he is being a little wary. And then Luffy says, yeah, I am different. I'm way faster. And he immediately sends out a punch, of which Katakuri dodges, like, you know, he should. He's insane at dodging with his observation hockey. But right afterwards, he gets hit from the side, really suddenly, and I was very confused at first. I assumed Luffy threw another punch, but that isn't the case. We see that Luffy throws another punch. Once he does throw another punch, the same thing happens. Katakuri gets hit from the side suddenly after he dodges the initial punch. Only this time, Katakuri reacted in time to like block it. He's still confused, but he managed to block it because he's a badass. And by the third hit, we get like a slow motion shot of what's happening. Luffy's actually ricocheting his shot, like Culverin when he fought Dofi, around and just hitting Katakuri from the other side, but so fast that Katakuri didn't have time to process it at first. He when he wasn't expecting it, just got blindsided. So we see it again, and by the third hit, Katakuri dodges the first and the second like wave, I guess I should say, because he like bends it around and he dodges it again. But Luffy then says that it doesn't matter because every time it changes direction, the more it stretches, the faster his fist is going to go. So eventually, he's going to hit Katakuri, is what he's saying. And he does. Luffy's new attacks are really good. He calls it Jet Culverin, which I think is a cool homage to Gear 2nd, since it was all about speed originally. He still uses it, obviously, and it's still all about speed, but now it's more of a regular thing. It's just kind of part of his skill set. And this is kind of an homage to like when it was like a big power-up, like big speed thing. So by the fourth hit, Katakuri decides to take things seriously, and he becomes all malleable and like sinks his head into himself and then dodges. He becomes a donut, of course, because he's Katakuri. Becoming a donut is just in his repertoire of abilities. He loves donuts. He gains momentum and speed from that, I'm assuming is why he became a donut. You know, he's like spinning and getting really fast. So after he gains all that speed, he like transfers all of it into his arm here and just creates a giant super mega buff arm with spikes on it, and there's a color of armament hockey all on his arm here, but only on his forearm. Like he's not wasting it anywhere else. And he just smashes into Luffy with his attack called Diced Mochi, and my goodness, it looks painful. Like Luffy has his eyes all white again. He's taking some serious damage here. And to add on to that, Luffy gets stuck onto the arm, and then Katakuri wails it around, you know, like a mace, and gains some more momentum, and then crushes it into the ground. And we see the most badass panel of Katakuri. It looks like something straight out of Berserk. He looks like a monster. Like, I want to draw in this style more often for the villains, because this looks intimidating as hell. I love it. I need more of it. I need more of Katakuri in general, to be real. So I also noticed that when he has his Dice Mochi arm, the big crazy forearm, that is a color of armament hockey, it becomes like a flame pattern, kind of like how Luffy's does on his own body. And Snakeman, I almost forgot to mention this, he's also only using his hockey on his arms. It's not really on his chest or anything, like it was in Bound Man. Again, that might be a little detail that's important to note. So, anyway, following Luffy getting crushed into the ground, he immediately talks about how he's hungry, because he's Luffy, and then says like how he's like just, you know, hungry and tired, and he's not having fun here. And he immediately jumps out of the ground, and Katakuri's like, "What are you talking about?" Which is kind of what I was thinking. Like, yeah, you're Luffy, but what are you talking about, man? We got shit to do. You were just thinking about how in your flashback, where it was like people don't care if you're hungry when you're fighting, but. Yeah, whatever. Luffy just shouts that he's saying what's on his mind, and he feels better now, and he just keeps punching him and fighting. Luffy and Katakuri trade a lot of blows, and it looks pretty even. On my first read, I thought, like, oh, cool, they're even. But on a reread, I kind of noticed that there's twice as many panels of Luffy getting. Like, Katakuri gets hit once, Luffy gets hit twice, and then there's 2 panels that show them clashing fists, and then in the next panel, Luffy's like, ow! Like, so I'm assuming they're hitting with the same amount of force. Like, I think physically, like, Luffy and Katakuri are both the same amount of buff, you know, they're the same amount of strength, but Katakuri's hockey is just way above Luffy's because he had more time to learn and develop it, both observation and armament hockey. I assume even his conqueror's hockey is better. Maybe not because Luffy's his own captain, but that's for a whole nother video. Yeah, so it looks like they're even, but I'm not entirely sure. It still seems like even in Snakeman, even with his power-up, Katakuri has the upper hand, which is cool to see. Like, that's not something that usually happens in Shonen. Usually, Shonen, someone gets power-up, they win. They single-handedly just annihilate the person. So, you know, this is a little different, and that's cool. After this, they trade 2 more blows. They both, like, double knockout kind of thing. They're flying backwards, but Luffy, who's tumbling on the ground, you know, like, hitting everything, and then Katakuri lands straight on his feet and just slides back, because he's a badass, and he cannot land on his back. That's not if you're Katakuri. And then, once Luffy's on the ground, he actually launches kind of like a surprise attack, like, just straight from the ground, just uses another, like, culverin, just, like, straight towards Katakuri. And Katakuri blocks it with his foot, just nonchalantly, like, kind of like it's just an afterthought. So he's not rattled at all. His observation hockey's still on point, even though Luffy has this whole new form. And then Luffy launches a new attack called Black Mamba, which is the Snakeman version of Gatling, I'm assuming, because it's looking like he's shooting out a bunch of the jet culverins, but, like, you know, in rapid succession. And Katakuri at first was blocking him, looked like he was a little overwhelmed. Then he got kind of adjusted and started, like, kind of dance dodging towards Luffy. If you watch the anime, kind of think of when Zoro and Kuma were fighting, and Kuma was, like, you know, shooting out a bunch of those paw things, and Zoro was dodging but getting closer as he was dodging, and, you know, it's kind of like, it looked like he was dancing. And I think Katakuri's doing the same kind of thing right now. And then when he gets really close, he knees Luffy right in the face. It looks really, really painful because there's just a big spike because he's an edgelord, you know. It's right into Luffy's face, and he goes flying again. Luffy's taking a lot of damage this chapter. He takes a lot of damage every chapter when it comes to his fight with Katakuri, but this seems even more than normal, and it's weird because he's the one with the power up here. So Luffy gets up again, and then Katakuri immediately goes in for the Dice Mochi. It looks like he's going in for a finishing blow. And Luffy, he goes for a technique called King Cobra, which is really cool. At first, my first read-through, I didn't even get what was happening. I was like, why is he stretching his arm around himself? Because he ricochets his arm forward, and then to the side, and then all the way around until it comes back around. So it's almost like he's just doing this to begin with. But I think what's going on is that since his arm gets faster every time it stretches, like, when it changes directions as it's stretching, he's just getting as much momentum as he can to hit Katakuri all at once. And now he just has this giant mega blow about to hit him, and Katakuri has Dice Mochi, and there's this crazy cool panel where they're about to strike, and then it shows both their faces, like a nice cut, they're both screaming, it's really intense, shit's going down. Cuts to a frame where you see something like Conqueror's Hockey or something, or just the force of the explosion, I don't know. And then break. There's a break next week, and we only get to see the results. We don't know who won. yeah, Oda deserves his breaks. I get it, but damn, that's so cold of him. I know he's doing it on purpose. He has to be to build up the hype, and I think it's gonna be worth it. I am cool with any result of this fight. At the beginning, I'm like, okay, Luffy has to win. By now, I'm like, if Katakuri wins, that's fine, because Katakuri is such a G. Like, I can believe, Luffy's not ready yet, like, if that's what ended up happening. And personally, I'm rooting for a tie. That seems like the best way to be like, Luffy's almost, like, pretty much at the level of a top Yongo commander, but not really. And, at the same time, not really undermining Katakuri or any of his accomplishments, or making him look like weak after he's introduced to such a strong character. So, that's pretty much it for me. This chapter was all action, super hype, and I could not be more excited. I haven't been this excited for a fight since Luffy versus Luffy, and that is just a great thing to be able to say, finally. Like, it's been a long time since the Luffy versus Luffy fight, and I'm glad we finally have something that I can think is on the same level. Like, I was hoping for that to be the Luffy versus Luffy fight, but I wasn't quite as impressed. It wasn't the same to me. This is it. This is the one-on-one fight. This is the gold standard. Yes, all fights should be like this one. This is great. Like, comment, subscribe, guys, if you're still here watching the video. It really helps out. I'm a new channel, and I could really, really use the subs and whatnot. So if you want to see more videos from me, come back next week. I'll be reviewing again, maybe a day or two late, but I will be reviewing the chapter, as well as My Hero Academia, Black Clover, The Promised Neverland, and Seven Deadly Sins. So until then, guys, see ya.